The main character in this movie is Seong. It's his son's birthday and his mother gives him some money for the birthday so that he could take his son for a dinner. But the money given was not sufficient for Seong and he decides to steal ATM card of his mother. Then he takes out all the money from his mother's ATM and puts all the money on horse riding, in which he won 4 million wons. Seong had also borrowed money from a company, so the people chases him, and when they catch and beats him up, Seong was about to return the money, for which he checks his pocket but couldn't find those 4 million wons in his pocket, which he had won in horse riding. Then he remembers that when he was running from these people, he got hit with a girl, and most probably that girl had stole his money. Since he didn't had money, the people give him time of 1 month to return their money. Then he arranges some money and takes her daughter for dinner. Then he reaches the station early but somehow misses his. When he was waiting for the next train, a man comes to Seong who was unknown to him. That unknown man says to Seong that he wants to play a game with him, and if he wins in this game, he will be given 1 lakh wons. Hearing about so much of money, Seong gets ready to play the game. Then Seong gets beaten several times and won 1 lakh wons. The unknown person tells him while giving a card that if he wants to win or earn more money, then he can contact on the number given on the card. Seong goes back home and gives the money to his mother. His mother tells him that his daughter is shifting to US next year with his stepfather. Here we get to know that Seong is divorced and his wife is remarried. He wants lots of money to get the custody of his daughter, as he didn't want to go far away from his daughter. So with that greed, he calls on the number on the card. After calling on the number, Seong is brought into a car where more people were present. They all get fainted, and after some time, when they get awake, they find themselves in a facility where already 456 people were present. They all were like players and were wearing uniforms too. The host of this facility was led by a front man who was keeping an eye on them too. The only common things amongst these people were that they were into debts. Seong meets player number 1, who was an old man and had brain tumor. This was the reason he came here, as his life was about to get over. There was a fight happening between 2 players, Si Saibyok and Jang. Saibyok was the same girl who had stolen Seong's money, which he had won in horse riding. As Seong sees her, he shouts on that girl to take back his money. Meanwhile, some guards enter in that room who were wearing pink uniforms and their faces were covered too. The guards tell all the players that they have to play 6 games in total, and the winner of this game will earn lots of money. Then all the players had to sign a contract. This contract had 3 main rules. First rule was that no player can leave the game on her own. Secondly, any player who will refuse to play the game will be eliminated, and according to them, meaning of eliminate will be known bit later. Third rule was that if the majority of players would like to leave the game, they can leave and go. After knowing the rules, everybody is taken for the game. Seong meets his classmate Sang-woo, who also knew him since childhood, and he gets shocked on seeing him there because Sang-woo went for a business abroad. Now the first game starts. There was a huge doll in the middle of the field. The rule for this game was very simple. The doll will sing a song and everybody has to move when she sings. As she stops singing, everybody has to stop. They don't have to move, but if anyone starts moving, he or she will get eliminated. At first instance, everyone thought it's a prank. But when a boy moves even after the doll stops singing, he got shooted. This was the actual meaning of eliminate. I mean to say that they will be killed. Everybody got panicked when they discovered that they all are in danger. In this panic situation, they all started running everywhere since it was game's rule, so the running players were killed and the survivors somehow completed the game. The dead bodies of the players were taken away from that place, and amongst 456 players, 255 players were left. All the players were so scared that they all did not want to play the game, and as the rule 3 of the game said that if the majority wants, they can leave the game. For this, front man comes and does the voting, but before that he shows the prize money to everyone, which will only be given to the winner. In case any player wants to leave the game, the entire prize money will be given to the family members of the dead players. The prize amount was 45 billion wons. Then the voting process was done, in which the majority did not want to play the game, and so the game was stopped. But in future they could rejoin the game if they wanted. Then everybody were dropped to their homes. Seong went to the police station the next day and tells the police everything that happened, but police didn't believe in him. Instead, they find him insane. To convince them, Seong shows them the card on which the number was written, but astonishingly, the number was wrong. Then Seong goes back home but could not find his mother's. Sang-woo, Seong's classmate, watches his mother. Meanwhile, Seong reaches there. Sang-woo was upset and tells Seong that he had borrowed money from his client and invested in stock market, but the money went squandered. So he had a debt of 6 billion. The same time, Seong receives a call from hospital where he gets to know that his mother's foot was injured, and due to lack of treatment of diabetes, her injury has increased. Doctor tells Seong that his mother could be treated, but for that, her foot needs to be removed, and that requires a lot of money. But obviously, Seong didn't have a penny. In fact, he wasted his mother's insurance money too. So he goes to his wife to ask for money, but she refuses to give it to him. His wife then tells his new husband that Seong came to borrow money. Her husband then gives money to Seong and wants him to stay away from his family. But Seong instead starts beating him, and his daughter reaches there and sees them fighting. Seong's friend goes to his boss to ask for money, but his boss refuses and a fight starts between them. During this fight, hands of his boss comes between a working machine, and on grabbing this opportunity, his friend steals the money from his boss and runs away from there. Then his friend comes back home and asks his wife to leave the country and go. Then Sae-beok, the girl who had stolen Seong's money, wanted to shift her mother from north to south. So she meets an agent for this purpose and needs a lot of money. She had a younger brother too, to whom she had promised to get her mother. Then the same officer to whom Seong had reached in the police station, his brother was missing. To inquire about his brother, he reaches to his brother's place, where he finds the same card which he had seen with Seong. So he comes to Seong and asks about the card, but Seong doesn't tell anything to him. Then Seong reaches his home and finds the card again. Now he decides to join the game again. For this, all the players are taken to a ship. The officer also reaches to that ship after chasing the car. He also kills a guard and throws him in the sea. Then all the players are brought into a facility on an island, and these players didn't have a single idea that what would be the game be. They make their teams. In the night, Sae-beok along with her female friend goes to the washroom. They both escapes from the guards and tries to explore the facility. Sae-beok sees the guards making something in huge pots. The guard somehow gets to know about their venture and they come and check the washrooms. But by that time, Sae-beok returns to her bed and tells everything to her female friend. That conversation was heard by Sang-woo, which he asked to Sae-beok, so she tells the same thing to Sang-woo also. The next day, all the players were brought into a playground where 4 shapes were present, amongst which they had to choose one. Sang-woo gets to know what the game was. He tells Seong that everybody had to choose one different shape. Small pots were given to everyone, in which the shapes were made. The game was to take out the shape without getting it damaged. If the shape gets a bit damaged, the player will be eliminated. That means the player will be killed. Sang-woo was able to take out the shape easily, but Seong gets panicked but somehow was able to take the shape out and wins the game. The players were sent back to their rooms. Out of 187 players, only 108 were left. Then everybody were taken for dinner where, because of food, Jang starts fighting with a boy. Jang beats the boy so much that the boy dies on the spot. Amongst the players, a doctor teams up with the guards and helps them in taking out organs of the dead people and selling them to the Chinese. Therefore, the bodies of the dead players were taken for this purpose because this was happening based on a plan. This was unknown to the front man. In fact, their known person used to sit in the control room and deletes all the videos so that the front man doesn't get to know anything. The guards also used to tell the doctor in advance about the game so that he could win the game and survive. One of the guards tells the doctor that the players will be given less food today so that they involve in a fight due to scarcity, and the weak players will be out of the game. The guard also tells about the next game to the doctor. Just after half an hour, lights were about to be switched off. Sang-woo knew that Seong's team will do something stupid, so he calls Seong's team and tells them to be patient and calm. The doctor teams into Jang's team and tells him what would be the next game. Soon the lights goes off. Jang, along with his team, starts beating everyone. He kills one girl and goes to kill Sae-beok, but Seong comes to his rescue and saves her. The guards comes over there and stops everyone. Now only 80 players were left. Later on, they all were taken from the third game. They all were asked to make a team of 10 players and they all follow as ordered. Since Jang already knew about the game, he did not want to include Sae-beok's female friend into his team and keeps only males. Sang-woo also makes his team but was short of one player, so Sae-beok's female friend joins them. The game was actually tug of war, in which one team had to push other team down. The game starts and Jang's team very easily wins the game. Now the turn comes for Sang-woo's team. The old man in their team tells them that he had played several tug of wars in his life, so he guides Sang-woo's team to play the game and somehow they won the game. Again, after half an hour, lights were going to be switched off, on which Sang-woo alerts everyone to be prepared. They all decide to guard one by one. On the other hand, Jang's team had all the wise players, so Jang had this fear internally that his team might push him aside. The doctor and the guards were taken out the organs of the dead bodies. Guard number 28 and 29 were responsible to deliver these organs. They all started talking about one dead body which had only one kidney and they started calling him a zombie. The guard number 29, on hearing this, suspects the dead body with one kidney was of his brother, because the guard number 29 was none other than the officer who was in the dress of the guard and who came chasing away the car. He knew that his brother had only one kidney. Then both the guards number 28 and 29 goes to deliver the kidney. As they come out of that place, the officer notices that the tunnel had bombs planted in it. Guard number 28 tells him that the tunnel will be blasted off as they will get off. Now the officer seeks more information from guard number 28, due to which doubt arises in his mind. Guard number 28 asks the officer to take out his mask. The officer does take out the mask but keeps the guard on a gunpoint too and asks the guard number 28 about the dead body which they were calling zombie. The guard also tells the officer that the body was of a girl. Guard number 28 also tells him to go and check all the information in the leader's room. After knowing this, the officer shoots the guard number 28. The doctor asks the guards about the next. But this time, to a surprise, the guards were also not aware about the next game. So the doctor becomes furious and in anger, he fights with the guard, beats that guard and runs away from that place. The guard also chases the doctor, and as he was about to kill the doctor, the front man reaches there and kills both the guard and the doctor. They also get the dead body of guard number 28, by which they get alerted that some outsider has entered into the facility. The officer who was dressed up as guard reaches to the front man's room where he finds everyone's records. He also finds a list where his brother's name was mentioned as a winner. He gets to know that his brother was also a winner in previous games. The players, on the other hand, were about to play the fourth games in which they had to choose their partners. They do as were directed. Even Sae-beok's female friend tries to find her partner, but no one gets ready to become her partner. All the players were given 10 marbles. The game actually was to take all the marbles from their own partners without forcing them, and the one who will be found without marbles will get killed. Sang-woo and Seong's friend plays an odd and even game in which they both had to guess as in how many marbles the other person would be having. In this guess game, Seong's friend wants all the marbles of Sang-woo and he is left with only one marble in the final round. Sang-woo gets to know that his life will be ended, so he tries to trap Seong's friend with his explanation that if anyone will lose the match, all the losers will play the match again. Seong's friend gets convinced and gives all the marbles to Sang-woo. Sang-woo handed over all the marbles to the guards and goes out of that place. When Seong's friend checks his marbles, he finds stones in it. Player number 1. The old man was not in a good condition and was roaming here and there. Seong makes him ready to play the odd and even game. Here the old man wants all the marbles of Seong, but in the last round of odd and even game, the old man forgets what he had chosen. Now Seong traps the old man and takes all his marbles, but the old man was smart enough that he manages to keep one marble with him. He again wanders here and there. Seong requests him to play the game again. The old man tells Seong that he knew already that he has taken all the marbles by trapping him. The old man was enacting like an insane person. Then Seong gives all his marbles to the old man while pitting on him. Sebeok and her female friend were also playing the game where they decide to throw all the marbles on the wall. The winner will be whoever will throw the marble near to the wall. Firstly, Sebeok throws her marbles, and when her friend's turn comes, she throws all the marbles not near to the wall. Sebeok sees this and asks her to throw the marbles properly. Her friend tells her that she is alone, but Sebeok has her brother to take care of, so her friend gets scared. Then all the dead bodies were taken from that place and the alive ones comes back to their rooms. Here Jang notices that Sebeok's friend was still alive and was sitting very relaxed. She was also Jang's friend, but some clashes were going between them. Therefore, she starts bullying him. Later, the frontman finds the ID card of the officer near the dead body of the guard. He then receives a call that all his VIPs had arrived and frontman leaves that place to receive them. All the VIPs are taken into the room. The frontman goes and informs a person about the arrival of VIPs. He was the actual main person about whom we will get to know later on. The next day, all the players were taken for the fifth game. There were numbers from 1 to 16 on each Malankin. Everybody ran and took their numbers. It meant that according to the numbers, their turn will come. Only 1 and 16 number were left. Seong gets confused as to which number he should opt. If he opts for 1, he can get stuck as he didn't know what the game actually was, and if he opts for 16, there could be a possibility that his turn will not come due to shortage of time. Then a man arrives and says that he wants the first number since I have never been on the first place in my life. Then all the players are taken into the gaming room. The rule of the game was that they have to cross a bridge in a given time. In between the bridge, there were 2 glasses placed. One glass was a tampered one and the other glass was an ordinary glass. If they place their feet on ordinary glass, it will break and they will fall down. Now the games begins and one by one the players starts falling down. Jang was not moving forward. He had only one option left, that whether he moves forward or everybody gets killed by falling down. Then Jang's friend comes over there who was bullying him. She makes him recall that whenever he will betray her, she will kill him. And at the point of time, she holds him and jumps off from there and they both dies together. One player was there who used to work in a glass company and he knew it, which was the tampered glass. As the front man gets to know about this, he switches off the light so that player could not recognize the glass. At last, only one step was left and no time was left too, so Sang-woo pushes that player and he falls down. Now these 3, Sang-woo, Seong and Sebeok, manages to cross the bridge, but as a result of the broken glass, they all get hurt and especially Sebeok. On the other hand, the officer kills one servant and takes his place. A VIP suspects the officer and asks him to remove his mask. The officer agrees to remove his mask, but on a condition that he will do it inside a room. The VIP also agrees to his condition and they both goes inside a room where the officer makes the VIP unconscious. The front man gets to know about this and chases the officer. The officer gets escaped and reaches to an island. The front man starts chasing him to the island. The officer tries to call his seniors, but his call gets disconnected. So he starts sending all the proof to his seniors, but due to no network, he could not do it. But then the front man comes and catches the officer, but the officer shoots him, and when the front man removes his mask, he realizes that it was his own brother. Then the front man himself shoots the officer who falls into the water. Sebeok, who was injured due to the broken glass and was bleeding, then the survivors were taken for a dinner. A knife was also placed near them. That means in the night, anyone can kill each other. Seong notices that Sebeok was not in a good condition, so he convinces her that they both will play as a team and will make Sang-woo fail. Then we both will leave the place and divide the money. Saibyok tells him that she has a younger brother left in an orphanage, and if anyone is left among Saibyok or Seong, he or she has to take care of both the families. Now Saibyok's condition gets worsened and needs a doctor. Seong goes and asks for help, but meanwhile Sang-woo comes and kills Saibyok. The next day, both the survivors were taken for the last game. This game was called Squid Game, in which the rule was simple: kill or get killed. Now both start fighting with each other. In the end, Sang-woo's condition starts worsening. Seong says that he will stop the fight and asks Sang-woo to come along with him. But Sang-woo kills himself, as a result of which Seong wants the game. The frontman tells Seong that he played very well, but it didn't seem that he will play that good. Then Seong was dropped at his home. He had an ATM card by which he checks his account whether the money has been transferred or not. He checks and finds the prize money was transferred into his account. Then Seong goes back home and finds that his mother had expired. Then after a year, Seong's condition is shown, where he had got addicted to alcohol and has not touched even a single penny from the prize money. One day, a woman who sells flowers comes to Seong and gives the same card which he had received initially, but this time an address was mentioned in that card. He reaches to that address and finds the old man, player number 1, on the deathbed. The mastermind behind this whole game was this old man. The old man tells Seong that he got bored from his life. Therefore, he made this game along with his clients so that he could enjoy seeing people dying, and we didn't force anyone to play the game. He also tells that he himself participated in the game as it was more enjoyable than watching. He says that the prize money won by Seong is of the old man. As he said this, he dies. After this, Seong goes to Saibyok's younger brother and takes him along to Sang-woo's mother and also gives her a bag full of money. He tells Sang-woo's mother to take care of the kid. Then Seong moves to the station and meets the unknown person again whom he had met initially. Seong chases him but couldn't do that. Again, he calls on the number mentioned in the card and asks them that why they are doing this with everybody. As a reply, he was warned if that he wants to be alive, board the plane. With this, the movie comes to an end. So this is the video. We need your feedback. If you want to give us your feedback, then please comment and please like, share and subscribe this channel. See you soon.